Crash. Crash Bandicoot is back, baby! That damn weird marsupial that we all knew and loved in the 90s is back to tear video games a new one, and he's doing it looking better than ever. First off in the trilogy is none other than the original Crash Bandicoot.
Uh-oh.
It's Crash Bandicoot!
The hard as balls game that made us all cry as children is back, and tweaked ever so necessarily in the right direction. Personally, the way my nostalgia ties up with this game is as follows. I played it at a long lost friend's house back when I was a wee lad, and I remember doing the first level and one of the bonus levels. That following Christmas, I remember asking my mom for Crash Bandicoot, and I guess the first game had been out for a while already because what I got instead was the perfection that is Crash Bandicoot Warped. Oh, but we'll get to you soon, my sweet. That aside, Crash is back and better than ever with some slight control changes. But fear not those who may cry foul with your
You better not change how my game feels.
for all of the bullshit still remains, and to me, that's a good thing. I don't think this game would be what it is without the contrast of difficulty that separates it from the following two games. The hard as balls jumps, the cheeky enemies, cheeky pitfalls, and the cheeky cheeks? Crash Bandicoot 1 is a platformer through and through and doesn't mess around. The levels all fill out a pretty awesome homage of a map that is very reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country or Yoshi's Island. Some levels will take on a 3D Sonic's ass perspective, while the others take on the more traditional side-scrolling Mario route. Then every so often, you get a boss fight. Boss fights, mind you, that while simple in their design, are just frustrating upon your first experience with them. Hell, this stupid bastard right here took me an embarrassing 42 minutes to beat. That's right, the magic number 42. All because the game didn't allow me to damage him with the spin attack when you're simply supposed to jump on him. Yeah, okay, what? You just don't do that. The difference between the playstyles keeps the game fresh, and memorable levels and music keep us at the edge of our seats, anticipating more of a good time. Unless you fall. And on this one bridge level in particular, the high road, you will fall a lot. The original Crash is a game that will put you on the mental edge. This game's levels are something that can only be summed up with a get good. On a more serious note, the game can be beaten, but it will take some time and patience. Just don't break your controller, cause those things are pretty damn expensive. Alright, enough with Crash Bandicoot over here, now let's get to the good stuff. Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back.
Crystals, of course. No! It's Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back.
Now, I had also dabbled with this game in the past at a cousin's house, and said cousin actually gave me the game for some reason. But hey, who am I to complain? Free game, right? So for years and years, Crash 2 just sat on the shelf, untouched. I'd look at it every now and then, but I never got around to it for like 10 years. One day I started it up, and boy was it confusing for me personally. It was a simple and pure Crash, no fluff. Just pure gameplay all the way through. Now, while I personally prefer that solid gold nugget that is Crash Bandicoot Warped, I can respect how this game shines as the fan favorite Crash game. The gameplay is just so improved from the first game that you could basically pass this off as the first Crash, and I don't really think anyone would complain. The music is fantastic, the boss battles are easier / make more sense, but then again, all Crash bosses are easy when you think about it. I'm looking at you, Papu Papu. And the levels are now all conveniently located in a much tighter design via the game's warp room. Did I mention that you get to ride this cute as balls polar bear? Because look at him, he's just so cute.
I just want to pinch his cheeks.
This Crash game also introduces the concept of vehicles. You get this water hoverboard thing, which is cool, the cute ass polar bear that I mentioned earlier, and you also get this badass jetpack with complimentary goggles. Sweet. The control schemes for these levels are pretty well done, and I can see where y'all come from on the jetpack levels, but it's nowhere as impossible as you hear online. What does come as a disappointment though is the Cortex boss battle. You just gotta fly, spin, hit, that's it. You could get hit by rocks, but there's no penalty other than slowing down Crash a bit. I kinda almost wish Vicarious Visions took some liberty here, and added in Cortex shooting off his blaster at you a little bit, because the final boss in the second game just isn't satisfying in the slightest. The only redeeming quality is that you're on a jetpack while you fight, and come on, Jetpacks make everything cooler. Overall, Crash 2 improves in every way imaginable over the first game and makes an effort to introduce something new in the form of vehicles. Yes, bears are vehicles.
But you lost the gems, you lost the crystals, and I have lost my patience. It's Crash Bandicoot Warped!
Oh, you don't know. You don't even f***ing know what this game right here means to me. Crash Bandicoot Warped is one of my favorite games of all time, and as soon as I can finally find its proper place in my top 10, I'll let you know. Crash Bandicoot Warped is definitely number 3 on my top PS1 games of all time, inching ever so closely behind Ape Escape and the legendary and holy Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Spyro. No! This is a Crash video. I'll be back for you soon though, my love. Now when I think of this game, I think of Crash Bandicoot perfection. As I said earlier, I respect how perfect Crash 2 is on a technical level and how focused it is on gameplay without fluff. F*** that. Crash 3 is the best, and here's why. Warp gets something right for me that truly makes a world of difference in video games. Music. The music is not only good on its own, but the way the music just blends and jives with each level, it's so complementary to the feeling / mood the developers had in mind. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention the music in all these games is not only good to begin with in their original versions, but the remaster has done something that we only thought was a far-off myth. Listen to the Dingo Dow boss fight music. Sounds good, right? No, you're wrong, it sounds amazing. But this trilogy has done something incredible. Not only have they respectively redone every song and kept the original tone in mind, but they have also made some of the songs even better. Trust me when I say that is one hard thing to accomplish. Music plays a huge role in this game for its enjoyability. It's one of the reasons I love to jump back into the original Warped year after year. I've had the original disc copy of Warped since it came out, and I can tell you that I've played the Dingo Dow boss fight over and over just to hear this song. And to hear this song remastered is...
It's just fantastic!
By the way, Dingo Dow is one of my favorite bosses of all time. This boss fight is actually more complex than other Crash bosses, and more fun too. You have to get past his crystals, but you need to wait for him to shoot. I could honestly just sit and listen to the song on loop for hours. Thank you, YouTube extended versions. You'll always have my thanks. Crash Bandicoot Warp takes our weird little hero on a trip through time, making various jumps into time portals to retrieve the crystals introduced in the second game. Crystals aren't as much of a problem in this game as they were in Cortex Strikes Back, because I actually missed a few crystals in the second game just because the lighting is so good that they now blend in with the environment to an extent. Unless my eyes just suck. The level variety in this game is great as you get completely new environments with the dinosaur and medieval levels. Now what makes this game special for me is that there was some good variety in this game. Crash Bandicoot Warped introduces scuba diving, wave racing, dino riding, and planes. Now I get that Crash Bandicoot Warped might be a bit more filled with vehicle levels than people would like, but hey, I love them. And now that we have a complete and convenient collection, you could just go back to the old games. Now in this game, even more so than the first and second games, you get the 2D and 3D gameplay style, but I feel that this one transitions more seamlessly between them than the first two. Also, the boss fights in this game are not only better and more varied, but the scale is much grander. You have Tiny the Tiger jumping around like an ass as usual, but this time with lions coming at you, adding to the thrill of battle. As I mentioned, Dingo Dow is a beautifully crafted masterpiece with his badass flamethrower keeping Crash in check. Dr. Entropy isn't bad, but he's definitely my least favorite from this game. Now remember when I said grander scale? The engine fight is freaking cool, man. You have him coming at you in a goddamn high quality bootleg Gundam-esque robo-mech suit, and you get to play as Crash Bandicoot's sister, Coco. How cool is that? You take this bastard on and he has a lot of health, more so than previous bosses. On his second win, you gain the assistance of Tiger Friend over here, and you proceed to finish him off into oblivion. Lastly, we have the Neo Cortex / Uka Uka boss fight. Now I gotta say, if Dingo Dow's song is the Goku of this game for me, then the Neo Cortex of this game is not far behind his freaking Vegeta. And holy shit, I get goosebumps every time when I hear this song. It's just so recognizable, and even the original sounded so fantastic. In all honesty, I think I might even associate the series to this song the most just because of Cortex being the main villain and whatnot. The actual fight itself is honestly just so badass. There are 2 fights happening at once. It's not just Crash versus Cortex, but also your main mask buddy Aku Aku versus his evil brother Uka Uka. Not only do you have to avoid Cortex's blaster and mines, but you also gotta keep an eye out for the brotherly battle, which is honestly quite epic if you pay attention to it. I mean, funny enough, I just mentioned Goku and Vegeta earlier, but these guys are going at it just like the 2 Saiyan rivals did back in their first encounter. I'd like to think that back when they finished the beam attack, they are out of energy and forced to move on to the tornado scenario because they're practically beating each other to death with their not fists. Then for the 3rd round, they're going at it, giving it their all, causing those cool explosions. All in all, Warped has solidified itself as one of my favorite games of all time, and even if you played the original, it would still control just as fantastically as this remaster does. The Crash games have had their fair share of ups and downs, but I really feel like Vicarious Visions did a bang-up job with this one. And hell, I never think I'd say this, but thank you, Activision. Thank you so much for letting this happen. These games coming out again is nothing short of a dream come true, and I salute you. Now Activision, lend me your ears and hear our cries. Given the sales of this remaster, it's probably already in the works, but baby, come on, give me Spyro. If you announce that at this year's PSX or next year at E3, that's fine. I can wait, but just get it to me, please. I need it! Well, it looks like we're almost done here, so to wrap things up, cast things off, and let things go, I just gotta say that for an entry fee of $40 in this modern age of gaming, I'd say these games are a steal. Hopefully, we'll see a Crash Team Racing remaster with online multiplayer, and some bonus Crash Bash thrown in the mix. Hell, add multiplayer to that one too. Crash, you truly are a character that's withstood the test of time, and you have proven that what's old can shine new again and burn brighter than ever. Until next time, old friend, I've been Akura Zengun, you all have been amazing, I love you, and thanks for watching. Hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been putting up with my daily uploads and Facebook updates so far. The Crash Bandicoot Let's Play was hella fun to do, and I thought I'd encourage you to check it out here. Give episode 19 a watch if you haven't, but you know, let me tell you, I love that episode so much, and I put so much work into it. Thank you guys, I'll see you later.